Right now, at this very second, your brain is actively lying to you. I know it sounds a little intense, but it is the absolute truth. If you've been feeling stuck, anxious, or just kind of trapped inside your own head lately, I really need you to know how incredibly universal that feeling actually is. Literally, almost everyone you pass on the street is secretly battling their own mind. But here's the thing. You are not broken. You are simply experiencing a biological glitch. And in this explainer, we're going to expose exactly what that glitch is and how you can fundamentally fix it. To understand the sheer scale of this, psychologists have discovered a truly startling number: 80%. A massive 80% of your daily thoughts are entirely negative. Just think about that for a second. The vast majority of the mental chatter happening inside your head all day long is actively working against you. It's that quiet little voice whispering, "I'm not good enough, I'm definitely going to mess this up," or "everyone else has this figured out except for me." It's just a constant, heavy undercurrent of self-doubt. But wait, it actually goes a layer deeper. Of those daily negative thoughts, a staggering 95% of them are the exact same repetitive thoughts you had yesterday. You're carrying yesterday's invisible luggage right into today, and honestly, you'll probably drag it right into tomorrow too. You aren't actually a negative person. You're just caught in a loop. A biological glitch that was meticulously designed to keep you alive thousands of years ago, but is actively destroying your happiness today.
Section 1. The evolutionary glitch.
Okay, let's dive into this, because understanding this mechanism is the absolute first step to dismantling it. By the end of our time here, you're going to have the exact tools to hack this ancient survival mechanism and fundamentally change how you think forever. Let's look at where this glitch actually comes from. Imagine this scenario. You go about your day and you receive 10 wonderful, glowing compliments from your boss, your friends, maybe your partner. But you also receive one single offhand insult. When you're lying in bed staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., tossing and turning in absolute agony, what are you fixating on? You completely ignore those 10 amazing compliments and you obsess over that one solitary insult. Why on earth do we do this to ourselves? Well, in psychology, there is a very specific term for this. It's called the negativity bias. This isn't a personality flaw, folks. It is a hardwired psychological mechanism. It's a trait we inherited directly from our ancient ancestors millions of years ago. Neuropsychologist Rick Hansen famously described the brain as acting like Velcro for negative experiences, but Teflon for positive ones. The bad stuff sticks instantly, while the good stuff just slides right off. Our brains are designed to prioritize negative information because back then, ignoring the negative literally meant life or death. Let's picture early humans for a second. On one hand, you had the anxious early humans who were constantly looking for the hidden predator in the bushes. They were stressed, they overprepared for the absolute worst-case scenarios. And because of that, well, they survived. They lived to pass on their anxious DNA us. On the other hand, you had the optimists, the relaxed ones who stopped to admire the beautiful flowers, assumed everything was perfectly fine, and trusted the rustling in the bushes was just the wind. Well, the optimists simply got eaten. So the crucial point is this. Your brain's ancient, primary job is simply to keep you alive, not to make you feel good. Your brain is not wired to make you happy. This means that happiness isn't just something that magically happens to you. It's an active skill that you have to continuously learn and practice. If you don't intentionally cultivate it, your baseline is always going to reset right back to survival mode anxiety. Section 2. 3 common mental traps. Because our brains are still running on this severely outdated survival software, we unknowingly fall into psychological traps in our modern everyday lives. There are 3 major ones that almost all of us experience. I want you to treat this like a friendly one-on-one intervention. As we go through these next concepts, I want you to ask yourself honestly, which one of these sounds exactly like you? Which trap is your brain's absolute favorite go-to strategy? The first trap is catastrophizing, also known as the snowball effect. This is when you make a minor mistake at work or at school, and within 5 seconds flat, your brain instantly builds it into an imaginary forest fire. You hit send on an email, realize there was a minor typo, and suddenly your heart is racing, you're short of breath, and your brain is screaming, "Oh no, I'm going to get fired," which means I won't be able to pay rent and I'll end up completely homeless. You take a tiny, insignificant spark and let it burn down your whole reality before anyone has even replied. Trap number 2 is all or nothing thinking, which is the classic perfectionist trap. In this mindset, if a situation isn't entirely perfect, it is a total irredeemable failure. Think about a diet. You're doing great, eating healthy all week. But then on Friday night, you eat just one single cookie. Instead of shrugging it off, your brain abandons all logic and says, Well, I broke the diet, the whole day is completely ruined, I might as well eat the entire box of cookies and order a large pizza. It completely eliminates the gray area, which is a massive problem. Because that gray area is exactly where healthy psychology and real life actually happen. And then we have trap number 3, mind reading. This one is incredibly exhausting. This is when you walk past a friend or a coworker in the hallway, they don't smile at you, and you instantly, falsely assume, they hate me. What did I do wrong? You spend the rest of the day burning through precious mental energy, trying to be a psychic, convinced you know exactly what they're thinking. When in reality, they probably just forgot their glasses, or they're just having a terrible morning that has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Section 3, the true biological cost.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it shows that these mental traps aren't just minor annoyances. The stakes are actually so much higher than that. We need to pivot here and look at these severe physical dangers these traps actually cause within your body. Your brain has a built-in alarm system called the amygdala, and here is the mind-blowing part. Your amygdala literally cannot tell the difference between a real, life-threatening physical danger, like a grizzly bear charging at you, and a stressful, hypothetical thought you're having while sitting perfectly safe on your living room couch. When you worry, the amygdala fires up with the exact same intensity, flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate increases, your digestion literally slows down to divert energy to your muscles, and your immune system weakens. Your imaginary thoughts are causing real physical damage. And over time, this state of chronic stress becomes permanent through a process called neuroplasticity. This is your brain's remarkable ability to constantly rewire itself based on your repeated thought patterns. The more you think negatively, the easier it becomes to think negatively. By constantly falling into these traps, you are literally building a high-speed, multi-lane highway for anxiety right inside your own skull. But the beautiful thing about neuroplasticity is that it goes both ways. If you can build a highway for anxiety, you can also completely demolish it and build a sturdy, peaceful road for calm. Section 4. Hack your brain's code. Let's move to and see how this builds a framework for us. How do we shut down this highway? How do we actually break the loop? The answer is not just to think positive. That is toxic positivity, and frankly, it completely ignores human biology. It just doesn't work. Instead, we need to use active, actionable psychological countermeasures to rewrite the code. Let's look at a clear, actionable 3-step framework. These are 3 concrete psychological steps you can start using right now to actively break the negative loop starting today. Step 1 is the is it true test. Whenever a negative thought pops up and tells you that you're about to fail or that everyone in the office absolutely hates you, I want you to stop and act like a ruthless lawyer in a courtroom cross-examining your own brain. You have to actively demand hard, objective evidence for that thought. Ask yourself, what is the factual proof for this? You'll find that 99% of the time, absolutely no hard evidence exists. It's just the evolutionary glitch misfiring. Step 2 is thought labeling. Instead of saying to yourself, I am a failure, you change your vocabulary slightly and say, I am having the thought that I failed. It seems like a tiny linguistic shift, right? But it's massive. It creates a necessary psychological gap between you and your emotions. By observing the thought rather than becoming the thought, you instantly diffuse its emotional power. You realize that you are not your thoughts. You're just the person observing them pass by. And this brilliantly illustrates the final step, the 5-to-1 rule. Because the evolutionary negativity bias is so incredibly strong, a single positive thought simply isn't enough to fight it. Psychologists note that it actually takes 5 positive thoughts to successfully outweigh the evolutionary emotional weight of just 1 negative thought. You have to actively outnumber the negativity. And yeah, coming up with 5 positive counterthoughts takes genuine, concerted effort. It is exhausting at first. But remember, happiness isn't a default state. It is an active skill. Section 5. Rewire your reality. Once you start applying these 3 steps consistently, you move out of sheer survival mode and into a space where you can actually begin to rewire your reality. You can maintain this newly structured mind by fundamentally shifting how you view your own thoughts. I really want you to remember this metaphor. Your mind is a garden, but if you don't actively plant flowers, weeds are going to grow automatically. The weeds are the evolutionary negativity bias. They're the glitch. You cannot control the first weed that appears in your head. That's just biology. But you entirely control planting the second thought. You control what you cultivate. You now know exactly how your brain has been tricking you, and you have the psychological tools to fight back. You know how to demand hard evidence, how to create that crucial psychological space, and how to heavily outnumber the negative noise. The path to a calmer, clearer mind is right in front of you. The only thing left to answer is this. Are you ready to step up, take control, and finally stop letting your brain lie to you?